Alright guys, so I'm going to start this frost wall right here. This is a small frost wall that comes out of the back of the house, and this is going to be for a walkout basement. So what that means is that the ground is going to be level with the top of this when I'm done, and then I can build 8 feet up from there. The idea behind it is that I'm going to have the ground level with the bottom of the slab here, so I need to be 4 feet below that with the frost wall. I have a couple of corners and some straights that I had left over from other jobs, so I think I got just enough to do what I need to do here, because I'm only putting 4 feet there, and then it's going to be 32 inches there, and then 16 inches there. So it's not really a lot of concrete I'm putting in here, and I don't need a lot of forms. I only need 6 corners and like 4 straights. So I have everything marked out on the footing exactly where it needs to be. I squared up everything, and I used my makeshift layout station, and you guys can visit the earlier videos on this house and see what I did for that. But it's real easy to put it right in the corner there and shine the laser all the way down to here. That's one of the advantages of using a laser for this instead of running a string line. What I used to do is set up batter boards, and that works great, but this is much faster, and you can get it going down this plane right here. So before we go any further, let me explain that I'm going to be installing a geothermal system, water to water, just like you guys saw on one of the other jobs. It's going to have a pond loop that's going to go right into this pond. So what I need to do, because I want the lines going to the pond loop to be at least 4 feet deep. So what I'm going to do is sleeve them through now. I'm going to sleeve a 4-inch Schedule 40 PVC pipe through right here. Do one right here and one right here. And then I'll cap the bottom, and then I'll leave them going up to here for right now, and then I'll extend them over to there, because that's going to be my utility room over there. So I'm going to have to dig down a little bit here so I can get the angle right to go right into it, and then I'll just leave it sticking out a couple feet on this side with a cap on it. And then I'll fill that up with some loose, clean stone right there, like some number 2s, just around those pipes, so it's easy to dig back up when I go to put the pipes in. And then basically it's going to have a sleeve from there all the way over to the utility room, so that's like 40 feet or so. So I deemed it pretty important to use Schedule 40 PVC instead of just using some other kind of, thin wall or triple wall or corrugated pipe. And these also have the belled ends on them. So the idea here is that I want to leave them just stubbed out right there, and then I can dig it out almost to the pond, install more pipes, then backfill that, and then I can kind of release the dam going into there, because at one point I'm going to be digging through the water. So I want to dig as much as I can without the water being in there, and there's just enough room here to leave a machine to be able to dig a hole, put a 20-foot section, and then fill that back in, and then work my way out. I'm going to set up something where I can put the pond loop probably right over there. put some whalers on the top, and we're protecting the top of these ICFs so that when we pour the concrete, nothing gets in these little crevices, because I want to go up from here and I want the next set of forms to fit right in here without any concrete in there. That's good enough. I took the sump pit out because we don't need that anymore. That was just there so we could pour this concrete. So now I can start backfilling this tomorrow. This is only a 4-foot wall. You wouldn't want to normally backfill this for a while if it was taller, but 4 feet, it's no problem. I just had this pump in here without even the sump pit. Now I can take this out finally because we don't care about the water level anymore. So the object now is to put stone around those pipes going up as far as I can so it's easy to dig out even by hand if I need to, because I'm going to be putting those pipes in pretty soon, but not right now. So I don't care if the stone punctures that insulation. It doesn't need to be waterproof. It doesn't even need to be insulated. That was just to form the concrete. This is all below the level because the slab's going to be above the footing. So this is not a concern here if I get it punctured on the inside or outside. It doesn't need to be waterproof. I'm not even going to bother with that. I don't need any waterproofing because I know the water table is going to come up about halfway. It's going to come up about another 18 inches from where it is right now, which is still a good 3 feet below the level of the slab. So I'm not worried about my water table for that. But for the purposes of this, I don't care what the water level is. I'm just going to fill it in and just try to put stone around those pipes. I need to get these pipes through here. A 4-inch Schedule 40 PVC pipe does not bend that well, so I can't just bend it around this corner. So I need to dig this out. So once I get those pipes routed up a little bit further and this dug down, then I can fill this whole thing up with #1 stone. And that's 3/8 stone that's clean with no fines in it. And the deal with this stuff is you can pretty much just put it in there and don't even have to compact it. So that's what we want. It's kind of expensive. It's like $15 a ton versus $8 a ton for crusher run. But crusher run is the type of stuff that you got to compact. This stuff I can just dump this in here and I'm good to go. I'm still going to compact it on the top, but I don't need to do like 6-inch lifts or anything like that. I really don't need to do any lifts. Just when I'm done with it, I'll compact the top and that's it. Then that way this whole thing is filled up with stone. This is the dirt that I took out of the foundation when I was digging for it, so I brought it back. All right guys, so I think I'm gonna have a change of plans here. This is kind of what I wanted right here, was for a sleeve 4-inch Schedule 40 PVC pipe to come from there all the way over there, because that's going to be the utility rooms. So I need to get the geothermal pipes through them and then out to over there for the pond loop. But no matter how deep I dig it right here, which is all rock, the angle from here to there is just not working out. The reason is because this pipe isn't flexible enough. Now I could switch and I could use like the triple wall or the thin wall pipe. But at this point, I think the easiest thing for me to do is just abandon this, abandon those, which is unfortunate. And I think what I'm going to do is actually just come out right here, because the loop is going to be right over there in the pond. So I think what I'm going to do, this is going to have at least 4 feet of fill on it. So that's good enough. So I think what I'm going to do is do 2 sleeves going through the bottom of this foundation, going straight that way. And then once the sleeve is on the inside, you know, 3-4 inches, then I can just put an elbow and follow this wall over, and another elbow there, and follow it over to here to the geothermal system, which is going to be in here. If the geothermal pipe is not in a sleeve, I can put all kinds of fittings on it because it's all exposed. And if anything ever happens, I can see the leak and I can get to it. I wanted to do this run right here just straight with no fittings on it. Even a 22.5-degree elbow could cause a problem when we try to snake that pipe through later on, especially since the pipe's going to have insulation on it. So I could bring that pipe out just to right here and then bring it right up to the wall and then switch to the regular pipe without the sleeve there and then follow the wall all the way over. But it's going to look like garbage because I'm coming up beside the footing and the wall is going to be over here, so it's just going to look really, it's going to look really silly there. Plus, I don't want any fittings to turn that sleeve at all. If I use this full 20-foot stick of belled Schedule 40 4-inch PVC, I might be able to get enough flex on it to do what I need to do here. But these things right now are $150 a piece for a 20-footer. So what I ended up doing was just going to get some foam core or cell core 10-foot sticks without the belled ends, which was only $23 a piece. That's less than a third of the cost if you do it by foot. So I've been weighing my options back and forth, and I really think the best thing to do is just abandon that and just put the sleeve through there when I put the foundation wall in and just be done with it. The idea here was that I just wanted to be 4 feet down coming right out of the building, but I will be 4 feet down on all sides of the building. So this is fine doing it here too. It's hard to imagine right now, but the slope is going to come down like this right to a point, which is going to be there. And so it's going to slope up at least 4 feet, maybe even 5 feet there. And what my plan was to have some like garden boxes in here, right here. That way they can come up like 2 feet and then you can go at a nice pitch. That way it's not a steep pitch going all the way down to right there, which is going to be the ground level of the door. I'm also noticing a problem where the water in here gets a lot higher up than the actual water table, because the water table is the level of the pond. But this actually gets higher up, and the reason is because it's coming off of this hill and it's coming down and it's following the bedrock. And then since I filled in over there, it just kind of stops right there and then just kind of rises up. Now eventually over time, when it settles and it dries out, I'm sure it'll go back down to the water table, which is the pond. But in the meantime, the water was about 16 inches below the top of this footing. So it was right at the bottom of that footing, which is way higher than it needs to be. So I guess these pipes will actually serve as a function to get this water out of here. And then what I'm going to do is dig a trench from there to the pond and fill it in with gravel. That way this water can freely flow from here into the pond, and that way it doesn't fill this up, which isn't really a big deal if it fills it up, but I'd rather it not. So at this point, I'm just going to cut those pipes off just like 2 feet from the end there. I'm just going to leave them open. I'm not even going to put anything on them. If gravel gets in them, that's totally fine. And then I'm just going to fill this up with gravel and be done with it. In the next couple videos I'll show you guys, but the geothermal pipe that I'm using is 1.5 inches and it's stupid thick. It doesn't bend around any corners. It's not like regular pipe you would think that would just bend. It's kind of like the Schedule 40. It just doesn't want to, it's really stubborn. You know, I thought I was real slick trying to get ahead of the game putting these pipes in, but really a longer sleeve is just much more places to fail. Whereas if I just have a sleeve going through this wall, what can fail inside of there? In case you guys are wondering why I took the forma drains off the inside here, I didn't like the way that it looked. They were like tilted out. Some of them were anyways. You can see that there's a lot of extra concrete on the bottom. I'm not unhappy about that because that gives it like a bell. So it actually extends these footings with that extra concrete right there. So I'll end up putting some pipes in here like you normally would see anyways without the footing drains. And that's for the radon. So you can see I got this all filled in. This is about where I need to be, and then we're going to tamp it down. And I'll try to tamp this the best I can. But obviously I didn't do it in lifts, which over here I'm going to do it in lifts. I'll probably do 4 inches of number 2 stone and then 4 inches of number 1 stone. This is the number 1 stone, this is the number 2 stone. It's easier to feather this stuff out than it is the number 2 stone. So my next move on this project is going to be doing a slab in here. So the first thing I'm going to do is come in, put that gravel in. Then I'm going to set all my plumbing for a bathroom that I'm going to have right there. And then I'm going to put some poly foam underneath of that and put my radiant tubes in and then pour that slab. So I have a few extra forms left over, but I just got word that my shipment is in. So I have new forms too. Just got to go pick them up. I'll cut these pieces of rebar off here because there's going to be a door there. I was putting those in last minute, so I didn't have time to cut them off, but I'll just cut them off flush, probably just those 2, and then I can put my door here. So it should be a lot nicer to pour and finish this slab being that there's no 8-foot wall that's towering over everything, that always makes it hard to bull float. So that slab is my next move, and then we're gonna get going on the walls. So it was pretty silly to have to change gears from those sleeves over there to over here, but those kind of things happen. You know, if you think about it like this, I do so many different trades. Normally when you're on a job like this, you'd have one crew that does the concrete work, one crew that does the excavation, one crew that would do the geothermal, you know, another crew to do the plumbing, and another crew to do the electric, and another crew to do all the different things that there is on site. But being that I'm doing it all, sometimes little things slip up because you're not thinking of every little detail on the job. So normally the geothermal guy would just say, okay, well, I want a sleeve here, and then the mason would just put a pipe in the wall before they pour, and that would be it. And so it would end up over here anyways. All right, guys, so anyways, I'm done with this little stage here of the frost footings. So I'll see you guys on the next video of doing the slab.